February 10th, 2023, IRCC did a news release in regards to caregivers from abroad. For decades, caregivers from abroad have played an invaluable role in supporting families in Canada, and recognizing their immense sacrifices, Canada has offered pathways to permanent residence in return. On behalf of Honourable Sean Fraser, Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship, Members of Parliament Salma Zahid and Rishi Valdez today announced that the amount of work experience in Canada required for a caregiver to qualify for permanent residence is being reduced from 24 months to 12 months. In addition, some spaces under the existing caregiver pathway have been reserved for caregivers who have already had work experience in Canada from a previous work permit, so that they are able to apply for permanent residence. The change will be effective as of April 30th, 2023, and will be retrospective for caregivers who have already applied. As a result, caregivers and their families will benefit from a faster path to PR and successful settlement in Canada. By reducing the amount of work experience required in Canada, IRCC also intends to improve processing and applications. This update is expected to benefit around 90% of applications currently in process, an advantage for both the caregivers who are just starting out and for those who have already been providing care in Canada. As we approach the end date of an existing caregiver program, we will continue to make any necessary changes to show our appreciation to the caregivers who help reduce some of the stress in the lives of Canadian families in need. Work is underway on the future of caregiver programming to plan for what comes next after the pilots conclude in June 2024. So a couple quick facts of the program to come into effect are: the effect will be as of April 30th, 2023, so keep that in mind, all caregivers that are currently in Canada working. And the shift in criteria is intended to apply to applicants from both the Home Child Care Provider pilot and the Home Support Worker pilot, including those whose applications have already been received by RCC and prospective applicants for the remainder of the 5-year pilots. Thirdly, since the launch of the pilots in 2019, nearly 1,600 caregivers and their family members have become PRs. In 2022 alone, nearly 1,100 caregivers and their family members became PRs through the 2 pilots. Fourth, immigration accounts for almost all of Canada's labour force growth. Roughly 75% of Canada's population grows from immigration, mostly to the economic category. By 2036, immigrants will represent up to 30% of Canada's population, compared with 20.7% in 2011. And lastly, a nice quick fact is that 50 years ago, there were 7 workers for every retiree in Canada. Today, that number is closer to 3. And if Canada stays on its current trajectory in the next 10 to 15 years, that ratio will drop to 2 workers for every retiree. Have a great weekend, everyone, and we will talk again next week.